All right, you ready, guys? All right, I'm excited today because I get the opportunity to bring to you a new innovation from iSatori. This is what we do best, right? We innovate new products, we create new categories, we continue to drive the industry with new innovation. Innovation that excites us to use the products, and more importantly, that's transformative for our customers. So I want to share with you some new innovations that we've created that I'm excited to bring so that we can help our customers continue to transform their physiques. So our first product that I'm most excited about is LIPO-DREX. Thumbs up? Okay. I'm most excited about LIPO-DREX because this is a very, very unique fat burner. Just like everything that we do, we innovate. We drive innovation into our products to make them unique, to make them more effective, and to make them not just marginally better, but different in terms of the mechanism of action, how they work, so that the customer gets the absolute best experience. And that's what they're going to get with our new LIPO-DREX. So, what is LIPO-DREX? LIPO-DREX, in my mind, and the way we want to help position this product, is it's the ultimate transformation agent. So when I say transformation agent, I mean reducing body fat, increasing muscle fullness, muscle hardness. And that's what LIPO-DREX does. So let me get into the details about this and why it's so unique and the basis of how LIPO-DREX works is a new concept called nutrient partitioning. Nutrient partitioning. You're going to hear this a lot as we continue to move forward with this product. It's not a new concept for consumers and sports nutrition industry, but it's not a very well-known concept. And the reason being the science hasn't caught up to the concept of nutrient partitioning, but it has now. And we're at the forefront of nutrient partitioning with LIPO-DREX. So we'll talk about how that works and exactly the benefits that we can receive from using LIPO-DREX. So LIPO-DREX is going to be for men and women who want to get ripped, who want to get cut, and you want to maintain or develop muscle fullness and hardness. Now, normally those are two diametrically opposing goals, but I will show you how with LIPO-DREX we can actually achieve that. It is a very high-powered stimulant. Its biofeedback is instant and it's powerful. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is an 11 in what consumers and what we can expect to feel. Okay? And again, LIPO-DREX is the ultimate transformation agent. Now, one of the other things you're going to notice is a new look. I think this is an exciting new look for iSatori and for our products that are centered more around diet and weight loss. As opposed to the black outline and the red, we've went with a white on the outside, red during in the middle to give it a nice pop with the name, the benefits, and give it more of a clinical and professional look, and frankly to be a little more gender neutral as well. Okay? So let's talk about how LIPO-DREX works. Okay? So nutrient partitioning can be a little complex, so I'm going to start from a more technical standpoint, and then I'm going to move us into a more simplistic standpoint. So nutrient partitioning, and the reason LIPO-DREX is at the forefront of this is because of an ingredient that you will only find in LIPO-DREX, and that's the C3G max. Okay? And we'll get into the details of the ingredient here in a few minutes, but C3G max and C3G stands for cyanidin 3-O-glucoside. Okay? This is a new ingredient that is really driving how the nutrient partitioning works. Okay? And we'll look at the science as well of this. So I'm going to talk about what C3G does and how it works and how LIPO-DREX becomes what we're calling the ultimate transformation agent. Okay? So when we eat food, any calories, okay? Calories are composed of macros, protein, carbohydrates, and fat, right? Protein breaks down into aminos, and that's what helps rebuild muscle, okay? Carbohydrates break down into glucose, okay? They can typically get used for fuel or stored as fat. And then fat typically gets used somewhat as energy, but mainly as fat, right? So when we're talking about C3G and its effect on the biochemistry of our body, we're going to focus primarily on the glucose and the fat. Okay? So when you ingest C3G max from LIPO-DREX, it's going to activate something called AMPK, adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase. Very long word, but it is a master cell regulator. Think about in your body, sort of the master of puppets. You have all these cells inside your body that do all these very unique things. Well, AMPK is the master. It tells all the other cells what to do in our body. Now, what's most important about this AMPK, and once it's activated from the C3G and LIPO-DREX, that it actually does two very important things, okay, that are not mutually exclusive, that are very important in terms of how LIPO-DREX works as far as the becoming a transformation agent. It activates something inside the fat cell and inside the muscle cell called lipoprotein lipase. You'll hear this as LPL, lipoprotein lipase. It basically deactivates it in the fat cell, okay, and it activates it inside the muscle cell. Now what does this do? This basically turns calories from glucose and fat away from the fat cell. The fat cell basically turns off and says, you cannot come in, right? And in the muscle cell, it activates it and it says, bring that glucose and fat to me. It requests those calories. So when you think about nutrient partitioning, another way to think about it in a very metaphorical, in a simplistic way, is, think about a train and the cargo that the train carries, right? And you eat food and you load that cargo with nutrients like glucose and fat. And it's going down the train tracks. And in your body, it's trying to decide where to go. And what nutrient partitioning does in C3G from LIPO-DREX is it changes the train tracks from normally being stored in fat, which it would typically do, to redirecting that cargo from that train, those train tracks, into the muscle cell. So if you're a flexible dieter, if it fits your macros, if you're a guy who likes to eat a lot of calories and is a little worried about where that's going to be stored, this is perfect for you, right? If you're a female who's dieting and wants to ensure that you're maintaining lean body mass, reducing body fat, perfect for you, right? But as far as the mechanism of action, this nutrient partitioning is at the forefront of new science and fat-burning technology because it essentially tells all your calories what to do. Turns them away from fat cells and redirects them and requests them into the muscle cell. Okay, so you're going to get less body fat, more muscle fullness and hardness. The ultimate transformation agent. Okay? So let's look at what the science says. Now, I realize, and I'm going to show you here, a recent study that was done on animals. A lot of people like to suggest that animal studies don't translate to human. Well, I say, show me when animal studies didn't translate to human studies. Okay? We're almost exactly the same in terms of our biochemistry, skeletal muscles, organs, bones. So the data almost always translates. And in this case, I'm certain you'll see that it does. So in this particular study that was done over the course of 12 weeks, they basically took two groups of animals here. And they fed one group high-fat, high-sugar diet. And I'm talking extremely high-fat, high-sugar diet, over 50% of their diet, right? They fed the other group the exact same thing, high-fat, high-sugar diet. Okay? They gave one group a placebo, and they gave the other group C3G. Okay? And this is the result that happened. So from the C3G that you'll find in LIPO-DREX, the subjects, the animals in this instance, that were taking the C3G actually lost a tremendous amount of body fat and increased lean body mass, whereas the animals that did not take the C3G, they became obese and they actually became diabetic in the study. And that's because even being fed high fat, high sugar diet, loss of body fat, increased lean body mass. Why? It's redirecting, nutrient partitioning, the glucose and fat into the muscle away from body fat. And in this group that didn't take C3G, it's all going into fat cells. So they became obese and, in fact, diabetic because of the high amounts of sugar. So when you look at the summary from the study, this is a very technical term for fat cells, adipocytes. They basically rejected the storage of the fat from the food calories, simultaneously triggering the muscle cells to request those nutrients. So that's why the subjects gained muscle, lost body fat at the same time, despite being fed this high-fat, high-sugar diet. Now, would I advocate that we go out and eat a high-fat, high-sugar diet and not train and take LIPO-DREX and expect these phenomenal results? Absolutely not. But when you consider how we are as consumers, that we're already probably eating pretty good, we could continue to not have to be concerned about where the carbs and fat are going by using LIPO-DREX, and that we're exercising, you can start to see and imagine how profound the effects would be with LIPO-DREX based on the science. Okay? So let's take a look inside LIPO-DREX and let's break down each of these three components inside here. So it works from three different mechanisms aside from the most important, which is the C3G max, the nutrient partitioning, the cutting matrix. The C3G max that we have is a unique and exclusive form that we created from aronia berries, blackberries, and purple corn, or sometimes called blue corn. Okay, so we took these three forms to yield the highest amount of C3G, cyanidin 3-glucoside, inside LIPO-DREX. Okay? Then we added some very familiar names that you've seen before: green tea, coleus forscoli, acetyl L-carnitine, and berberine. And again, these will all work synergistically to enhance the fat burning effect, lean mass gains, right, and controlling the glucose and fat disposal in terms of nutrient partitioning. Okay? Now, the second part of this is a very important part of reducing body fat. That's the thermogenic effect, right? The rate at which our body is going to burn calories. So you have a high amount of caffeine, but you also have the L-ornithine as hydrochloride, which is going to extend the half-life of caffeine in the body. So you're going to get an extended, nice boost of energy. You've got the cayenne from capsitherm, our form of cayenne pepper. This combined with the black pepper, which also aids in the absorption of the ingredients, but also will give you that nice thermic heat effect. So you're going to feel that warming effect in your body, and that again is thermogenesis, the rate at which your body is increasing the expenditure of calories. So a very, very important part of the formula. And then the third part is about the mental aspect, right? So you're getting a good focus, a feel-good biofeedback mechanism, a good, sensory stimulation that you could expect from LIPO-DREX, that is from the teocrine, a new ingredient that's becoming very popular, that again helps to keep the body from becoming desensitized from caffeine, so it'll extend its effects over time. And then you've got the bacopo and you've got Hardening, which again give you that great mental stimulation, focus, and add to that extreme energy effect of the formula. So you've got three parts: nutrient partitioning and cutting, the thermogenic effect here to burn calories, and then you've got the mental stimulation effect. So in our opinion, we have created the ultimate transformation agent. So the product, LIPO-DREX, is going to be available to ship by the end of December, be available in market in January in retail establishments nationwide. We have priced it at $59.99. We are going to aggressively monitor a minimum advertised pricing of $39.99. We think this is a fair price for a very innovative product. It will come in multiple configurations. So we've got a 45 count, and This is the standard full-size bottle. Okay. We've got a 10 count that is coming, which will be a 5-day supply, which again gives individuals an initial experience of the product. And then we've got single serving 2 capsule packets for that acute usage, so you can feel the biofeedback mechanism from the product and the extreme energy component from it as well. So the way you use LIPO-DREX is very simple. If you're under 150 pounds in body weight, you only need 1 capsule, and you want to take that before your first and or largest meal of the day, right? Because you want to take those calories and partition them in the right way. If you're over 150 pounds, you want to take 2 capsules before your first and or largest meal of the day. Okay, so pretty simple to use, great formula, love the new packaging. I think it sends the right message. And again, innovation is at the core of everything we do. And we're attempting to drive this new innovation in C3G Max, nutrient partitioning, with LIPO-DREX into the fat burning category, so we can again put ourselves in a premium leadership position in a category that historically has had and left a lot of consumers not typically experiencing the benefits they're looking for. But with LIPO-DREX, you can be assured that you're using a technology that's completely different than you've ever used before, that we know is going to help people lose body fat, feel that muscle hardness, and get extreme energy. So I'm excited to bring LIPO-DREX to the market. So with that, do we have any questions on LIPO-DREX?
The teocrine, so that's going to help with the mental focus as well. Does it have any other benefits to it?
You know, there's a number of studies being produced by the makers of the teocrine. I think there's some promising new results that we might see. I'm not sure if those have been published yet, but I do know that the primary effect of the teocrine is the increased mental alertness, but also, unlike caffeine, which you tend to get receptors that downgrade, meaning over time you either have to use more caffeine or it becomes less effective. Teocrine, you do not experience that. So my experience in using it is it gives you a nice, good boost of mental alertness, but you don't get desensitized to it, where the effect continues on over time.
How long can you stay on this? How long can you take it?
Well, I think if you were to follow the science, you probably want to use it for 12 weeks to get the full benefit. We know that most people like to use a fat burner for maybe about 8 weeks. But, you know, again, if we're going to follow the science, I think it's best to maximize the benefits for at least 12 weeks. Maybe after that, take, you know, a 2 or 3 week break. But we also know that some people like to use fat burners on a daily basis just as a source of energy, and then know as a side benefit that they're burning body fat. But I would say no less than 8 weeks.
With the amount of caffeine in the product, is it something that you would suggest could be used as a pre-workout, or you would suggest not even taking it anywhere near the time you take your pre-workout?
Well, with this amount of caffeine and at 2 capsules, you can do the math, you're going to be at 400 milligrams of caffeine plus the teocrine. So this is going to have that scale of 1 to 10 energy. It's going to have an 11. You're going to feel this, and you're going to feel it right away. I would not suggest, nor do we suggest, taking this product alongside together with any other forms of stimulants. Now, we know that some people can tolerate a lot of stimulants, but I would never suggest that you utilize LIPO-DREX with another product that contains a stimulant at the same time. At least assess your tolerance to LIPO-DREX first, and then you can look at adding smaller amounts of other stimulants over time. Now, with that said, I will say though, that if you look at most of the caffeine studies on performance, they are done with 600 to 900 milligrams of caffeine. And they still don't see negative effects other than an increased, heart rate, or in some instances blood pressure. But most of the performance studies are done on very, very high amounts of caffeine. Now, I wouldn't advocate for that, and you always should assess your tolerance and build that up over time. But I would not mix this product with any other product that contains caffeine or stimulants. Okay?
So with the yohimbe or yohimbine in it, it acts as a, would you say, it mobilizes fatty acids?
Exactly. So this thermogenic effect is going to release, right, and activate the fat burning process in thermogenesis. Yohimbe, everybody reacts a little differently to yohimbe, but sometimes it gives you that little bit of tingle on your skin, a little bit of chill. But what we're looking for here is a full, well-rounded thermogenic effect. So we know that we're constantly burning calories and utilizing those calories as energy.
So also with the yohimbe, sometimes people claim to get pumps off of it. Could you possibly get like a vasodilation pump from it?
I don't think I would claim that, but I would stay focused on, the
Just
thermogenic
the-
effect. Yeah, the muscle hardness and fullness is going to come from the C3G max and the
Okay.
nutrient partitioning, because you're literally shuttling all that glucose and fat into the muscle. It's going to feel and look fuller and harder. I mean, it's basically taking all of those nutrients and just putting them inside the muscle, and your muscle has no other recourse but to enlarge, right, as a result of that.
I know, does it have anything that acts like an appetite suppressant in here at all?
I think naturally, as an effect, the thermogenic and the mental stimulation components will certainly, by way of stimulating the sympathetic nervous system, the CNS, is going to suppress your appetite. Now, there isn't anything necessarily in here that delays gastric emptying that will make you feel fuller for longer, but the converse of that is the increase in stimulation, which then typically tends to suppress your appetite. So you will get a byproduct of this of appetite suppression.
The gelatin capsule, is it animal or plant?
It's bovine, so it's animal. So you'll also notice that with the colorings in here, the capsules are solid red. So it's a clear bottle, full white shrink. When you lift up and you look in the bottom, you're going to see solid red capsules inside there. Those are the LIPO-DREX.
Now typically, with a lot of fat burners, things like that, people have said, they've taken it and 4 hours later, do you suggest a time not to take this after if you want to go to bed at night?
Definitely. Like anything with a high stimulant, you probably want it 4 to 5 hours before you go to bed. I know for me personally, stimulants tend to stay in my body for, I can count the hours and it's 6 hours, right? If I take a pre-workout, it's about 6 hours later before I can finally fall asleep. So everybody's body's different. You got to kind of know and understand how your body works. But again, it comes back to assessing your tolerance first. This is a very, very strong fat burner, so assess your tolerance first. All right, great questions.